Hello. So it's been a while since I've done a video. I have been super busy, but now I've had a little bit more time. I've done some reading, and I've just read a contemporary high school romance called I Hope This Doesn't Find You by Ann Liang. So that is what we're going to be reviewing today. So first things first, basic overview. We have our main character, Sadie Wen, and she is the perfect student. She tries to be nice to everyone, even if it requires letting them walk all over her. She tries to get the best grades humanly possible so that she can have the best future for her and her family. And she is the type that almost never thinks about herself, that will do almost anything to please other people and to be liked and wanted. But as people are walking all over her and taking advantage in a way, she will let them, but she gets her anger out through emails. And those are all her unfiltered thoughts of what she really thinks about people. But through misfortune, these emails are sent out to everyone, not only the people they were meant for. They were sent through Reply All, and all of the students can see them and are now hating on Sadie because now she's seen as secretly a jerk. But most of the emails go to her high school rival, Julius, and these two have known each other for years, since kindergarten. So they are very well acquainted, and they are constantly trying to one-up each other. They are seen as the best students. They are both co-captains / student body presidents, basically. And so they run a lot of things. They are the best in their classes, and they both feel a lot of pressure to be winning against the other. One of them always has to be doing better. And yet everyone assumes that they are civil with each other. No one really knows about the depth of their rivalry. But when the emails come to light and their true rivalry is revealed, not only is Sadie mortified, Julius a little angry, the school has to get involved. It leads to them needing to be paired together for various projects to show their good sportsmanship and that they can, in fact, get along. So most of the story is just their relationship and how it develops, their intense rivalry, and all of the want simmering under the surface. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was just a really cute, light, easy read. Very quick. I finished it in about 2 days. Probably could have finished it in one, honestly, if I had started earlier, but it was good for what it was. That being said, it didn't have a ton of depth to it, and that was okay. It had some good emotional moments, and they weren't super deep or anything, and that was okay. I was looking for a lighter read, and if that is more what you want, then I definitely recommend reading this book. It wasn't as intensive, and in light of other books I've recently read, I kind of wanted just something that was a little bit more fluff. And this isn't fluff in the sense of just cutesy happy, because it is most definitely enemies to lovers. It was more fluffy in just the sense that it was just an easier, lighter read. But it was what I was looking for, so I was very happy with that, and overall I thought it was pretty good. Now, generally, I stay away from high school romances. I used to read a ton, but nowadays I don't read that many. Only a few can really draw my attention. The best I've read recently would probably be Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, and this one. I do have some favorites. For example, Geekarella by Ashley Poston is one of my favorite books, and it is a high school romance. I like that one. But there are just so many that I don't like as much. I tend to steer more towards adult romances. I simply like the dynamics more, and I like more of the thought processes and the maturity. I feel like sometimes there are less certain cliches, and I like cliches, especially there's some just perfect romance cliches. But in a lot of high school romances, there are just specific ones that I don't like as much, so I tend to avoid those. That being said, there are a lot of high school romances that I like, again. But still, typically I'm more of a adult rom-com kind of gal. There's just more maturity, and I personally think that they're a lot funnier. Maybe that's just me, I don't know, but really that's just generally where my preference lies. But I really did enjoy this one. I thought it was good. I imagine it's a lot like To All the Boys I've Loved before. I have not read or seen that series, but I hear good things about it, and from what I understand, it sounds similar to that, minus the love letters and instead basically hate letters. And I didn't approve of all of Sadie's choices, but in an okay way. You know, it was more about her personal learning and growth, which a lot of high school romances are about. But a lot of them are also about just the basic teenage rebellion, doing stupid things, getting in trouble for it, and then hating their life like their parents don't understand them. But this one I thought was more interesting because it strayed from that. She did some of those things, but she regretted them, and then they went so against her personality, and she felt sorry for sending those emails. But she also doesn't technically apologize for them because they were just her real thoughts. And while it's hard to hear what people really think about us, sometimes being open about our opinions is better than lying about them. And sometimes it's better to have a person who is going to look at you and tell you what you're doing wrong, rather than just faking a smile and say you're doing fine even though you're not. So yeah, that was all well and good. I really like the enemies to lovers between Julius and Sadie. I wasn't expecting there to be quite so much hate. I was expecting it to be more just bickering, and there was definitely bickering, right? But they straight up insulted each other and hit where it hurt because they knew each other. They knew where to pinpoint. Though Sadie's actual emails were very melodramatic and didn't seem to target anything very personal, so was more just like, sometimes I wish I could throttle you, that kind of thing. But I was surprised by some of their insults. It was a lot of kind of back and forth. Julius really laying on thick, like, I hate you. I'm gonna hurt your feelings. She retaliates, and then something shifts, and then they're almost getting along, like immediately. So there's just a lot of back and forth. And sometimes that really annoys me, but I was okay with it for this book. I just wanted something more light and easy that didn't bother me as much. The main thing was the ending, and it was a good satisfying ending. I still enjoyed it. It was still moderately well done, but I needed more, and not just in the this was a good book and I want more sense, or there should be a sequel. No, it wasn't that. It was more just there physically needs to be a little bit more at the end, and not the very last words. I thought it had kind of a sweet ending. It was more before that because we have the great confession and everything, and then all things are good, and then some random stuff happens, and the last words they say to each other are about cleaning stuff. It switches to a whole nother scene and then leads up to the very ending. And I was just kind of like a little, oh, there's the end. And I just wish there had been just a little bit more, like something there. I don't know. The ending to me felt like a little rushed, perhaps, because for the majority of the book, they still at least act like they hate each other for a long time. And it's only really until the very end when they finally clear things up. I want to see more how they act when they aren't pretending that they hate each other. And I feel like a lot of enemies to lovers books do this, where the confession happens, they love each other now, that's it. And I mean, a lot of romance books in general do that, and that's okay. But with enemies to lovers, it almost feels like a cop-out because the author doesn't know how to write this relationship now that the two don't hate each other. But if you can't write them having a positive relationship, even if they do have the same banter and everything, then that's more of the sign of a toxic relationship, in my opinion. With enemies to lovers, it's really hard to have that balance of, oh, it's opposites attracting, they're just clashing, and they will make this amazing couple. Whereas it could genuinely end up turning into a really toxic relationship. Now, personally, especially in YA fantasy, a lot of the male leads have a ton of red flags, and yet we love them anyway. With contemporary, I view it a little differently. But despite that, I still thought this was a great novel. I enjoyed it, I thought it was good, and just uplifting and happy. Generally fun, not anything super amazing or anything. I gave it, I think, 3 stars. I had a good time reading it, and I've already recommended it to some people. And I figured I might as well do a review for it since it came out a few months ago, relatively new, and I just enjoyed it. I'm not going into spoilers or anything, since there really just isn't that much to talk about. It was a short novel, but I enjoyed it, I liked it, and I hope you enjoy it too. If you are interested in reading it, let me know what you think down in the comments below. That is all I want to say, and with that, I will check out.